So we will perform some data cleaning um, using dask. So dask is similar to pandas. If you've used pandas, you find it easy to use dask. Pandas is for in-memory data preprocessing. So if you have data that fits in memory, you can use pandas. If you have a big data set, you can use dask. So yeah, dask makes it easy to do very simple tasks, like just removing some null values. You can do that in Spark, but I mean, you have to set up your Spark framework and it takes a longer time to run. If you want to just do just simple tasks, just go ahead with Dask. So if you are using Conda, you can just do Conda install. If you are using pip, just pip install Dask complete, and then you get a working installation. I already have Dask on my computer, so I'm not going to do pip install or conda install. So let's go ahead and import Dask. So dask dot data frame as dd, and then df1, or let's say df2, so df1. Let me use df1. So dd dot read csv. Now I want to read all the CSV files, so I'll just use the star dot. So read all files that have extension CSV, and I'll say df1 head. And we have that. Okay, so there are a couple of things we are going to do um, in this data cleaning. First of all, we only need the ratings and the review column for our machine learning model. We don't need username, helpful, total, date, title. We can drop those columns using TensorFlow extended, but I just want to clean the data a bit before we go into our later models. Um, the next thing we also want to do, which we talked about, was removing all ratings or all rows that have a null column. And then the third thing we want to do is to change our rating labels into zeros and ones. So whether the rating was positive or whether the rating was negative. So for this example, I would choose all ratings that are above 5 to be positive and all ratings that are below 5 to be positive. You can argue that 5 is neutral, but I just want to have two classes. So positive is above 5 and negative is 5 and below. So first thing we have to do is, so let's go ahead and drop all the columns except the ratings and then the review. So I will say df2, df1, and then very simply I will just select review and rating. So this just effectively just putting all the only these two columns into a new um, data frame, and then I'll say df2.head. Then we have our review, and the next thing I want to do is let me drop all rows that have the null rating. So df2, so let me say df3, df2, and then I'll say df2 dot rating equal to, right, and then we have df3 dot head. So we've had that. Hopefully this works. And then the next thing we want to do is to change all this labels into zeros and ones. However, the ratings column is of data type string, so we have to change it to of data type int. So df3.rating, so df3.rating as type say it's an integer. df3 dot head. So now we can go ahead and transform this rating. So I'll say df4 df3 dot rating will be equal to df3 dot rating greater than let me say 5. So if the rating is greater than 5, it will be true. And then after that, let me just make it an integer so that we can just have zeros and ones. Right. Yeah, hopefully this works. df3 dot head. So yeah, so this works. So you can see that here this movie is full of suspense because it's at 7. It gives you a 1. Here I'll leave this review concise. So because it's a 5, you have zeros, and I have so this is also a 1. Right. So yeah, we have finished transforming our data a bit. So the next thing we have to do is to write this data frame into um, a CSV file and into CSV files, right? Yeah. So what I will do is to let's go ahead and then write this data frame to CSV files. So I'll say df3 dot to CSV. All these files, you can name it anything you want, files.csv or anything. I don't want the index column, so I'll say index equals to false. Yeah, hopefully this works. So let's run that. It's probably, so let me just open, yeah, so you have the files.csv folder here, and as you can see, it's writing all the data in parts. Yeah, so it's partitioned the data, it's writing all of it. So yeah, I'm just going to pause the recording, and then um, when it's done, I'll come back. So the next thing we have to do is to rerun our pipeline. So now that we have written all the files as CSV, we have to rerun all our. So first is example gen, so I'll click that, click that, click that, then go that. I don't have to change the name here. So input base is no longer 2 reviews per movie, so it's now files.csv. So I'll click that, click that, click statistics gen again, click that, and yeah, I'll come back to the video when done. So we have finished running all our components again, and you can see for the example gen component, you have the review, and then you have the rating. You have a long angry review for this one, and yeah, that's the rating of 0. And for statistics gen also, um, you can see that you have a rating, and then you just have a review, right? And from there is also another problem. You can see that the zeros are, are less than the ones, right? So you have just 24% of the or 25% of the data being rating 0, and then the rest 75% being 1. So this is highly imbalanced, and there are ways to deal with that. When we get to the model training, we will do that. So yeah, go ahead and play with the data. Just go through all the videos we have recorded so far, and if there is anything, you can leave it in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.